Yep. Um, Even though, yeah, we don't even need. We really don't have to clone this. We could revert this because this takes uh, this takes a reference. It really takes a reference, so we could put that first. But I kind of like having the up first before down. Whenever possible. So it does look like we don't need this anymore. Interesting. So in that case, actually, uh, left there. I mean, that's interesting because it's not as simplistic to use just left and right because of the way we're using it, and this could just be copied here. Yeah. Yep. Oh, we're using table down, so let's get the assignment there. Hmm. 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 Abdul Shakur Tupac. Hey man, how to get started with TDD? I think the idea shouldn't be how to get started with TDD. The idea should be how to get started with just testing in generally. I think a lot of books, influencers, tutorials have really messed up the idea of testing. You don't pursue test-driven development. Um, just try to understand the the different cases. Like I think the way I think about testing is I think about testing just like testing anything, right? Think about if you buy a new television, you want to test the television, or just about anything, right? Sometimes you build the stuff before you test it. Sometimes you create some kind of testing scenario before you actually start building that stuff, right? So I don't think you should pursue TDD. I think you should just try to build programs and learn to test. When you learn to test, you know when it makes more sense to do TDD. The kind of scenario where TDD might make sense is um, you you have a clear understanding of what you're about to implement, not necessarily the implementation details, but the API. You have a clear idea of what it's going to take. I can give you an example. Um, so, for example, we have a function that is going to be um, calculate calculate or let's say map age group, right? And we know that we have like, oh sorry, let me bring this up. We know we have different age groups. We have kids, uh, adults, and we have maybe teens, right? And we know that age should be like um unsigned integer 8 bits, right? Because hopefully no one, at least as at 2024, is able to get to the age of 256. So you have something like this, and you're expecting age group. I mean, pardon me. So let's call this age group. Right. So you know this is gonna take age group. Before you implement this function, you already understand clearly what to expect, and it's a very contained, isolated, well understood, well constructed API. That's like clear contract. You know what the function is, you know what it's taking, you know what it's meant to return, right? So you might not know what the implementation detail is going to be yet, right? You might not know that, but you have some kind of like expectation of what it should be. So then you can start thinking of your test. Okay, the test is blah blah blah, test age group, right? test map test map age group. So you already have some kind of requirement, clear requirements that anybody 10 or less should be a kid, or like that would be 13, 12 or less should be a kid, then 19 or less should be a teen, and 19 and above should be, I mean 20 and above should be an adult. Let's say you have something like that. Then it's easier for you to just write a bunch of test cases, right? So you can do blah blah blah. Let's say you have these, uh, let's say we do 1 or 0. Let's do 0 here. The nice thing is, since we're using unsigned integer, you can't even use -1. So let's keep this at 0. Oh, oh, yep. So we need to derive some stuff for this. Let's derive equal and partial equal for that. So you have something like this. You can also have something like this. So let's say 12, 13 rather. Why don't you just do it straight away here? Let's say this is 13 and this is 0 and this is say 12. Like, you have clarity on what to expect in this kind of scenario. It's a very, I know this is a contrived example, but I hope it gets the point across. Yeah, it's very clear what the requirements are. So let's say this 20, you're expecting this to be teen. And this should be an adult. Like, here you know what you're expecting. It's quite clear. You can have a lot of test cases. So let's say 200. Sorry, 100. This is another. You can even have like a loop, so you can do for adults, and let's say you're expecting adult to be 20, then you can do something like this, right? Then you can do for kids, and that's 0 to 12, and then you can do for teen, right? So you can even do that. So that covers your entire range. So you do, yeah, it's very clear. Before you even start implementing, you already have a clear idea. But this isn't very common when you're actually developing in real life situation, so you just try to think about what you are trying to achieve. Do you have like a clear requirement, clear expectation, clear API, and also are the requirements bound to change? Are you still experimenting? Are things well defined and well understood yet, or are you still trying to figure things out? Like, I'm in the process of semi-exploration. When you're still exploring, when you're exploring the API, not the implementation detail, right? When you're exploring the API, what you should take, what you should return, and you have a clear understanding of the requirement, and you don't have the clear understanding of the requirement, don't do TDD, or otherwise you would have to be changing your test anyway. But when you have clear idea of the API, what the function should take, what it should return, what are the test cases, what are the requirements. When you have the clear idea of the API and the requirement, then TDD makes sense. But when you don't have, when you have sort of like a vague idea of those things and you're still exploring, then don't try to do TDD. So TDD is just writing tests. It's just basically mostly it's like writing tests before you even implement your function. So in this case, we're written test. It will start by failing because we haven't implemented it. Then by the time we implement this, so we could have like match, age, blah blah blah. By the time we implement this, right, then it starts passing. So it's like blue, it starts as red, right? We're failing at first because we haven't implemented it. But by the time we implement it, we expect it to be green. Then it's passing, right? So just do what works best for you. This can the benefit of TDD is that it can help you sort of like think about your implementation and give you confidence that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right track. But it can also limit your sort of exploration in two ways. The first way is psychological. I've written this bunch of tests that I'm trying to fulfill. So now you're psychologically constrained. Maybe you're meant to explore a different API, but now you've artificially created an API that is now limiting you psychologically. Then the other side is also investment, like you've put time to write the test and you don't want to like delete it. So I would say just think about you as a person, what works best for you. And I think with time you sort of like develop an intuition on where it makes sense to do a TDD, especially if you're writing like a very complex test, a complex function, but with well understood API. You know what you should take and what you should return, but the implementation is very complex and there are different cases you need to cover. In that kind of case, TDD can be very useful because it allows you to cover different edge cases. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any other question or more question on that. Yeah, 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 yeah. It is rename. Oh, 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 oh. How are you doing though? And thanks for joining the stream. Where you chatting from also? So we've got an issue there that we need to fix. Oh, I see why it's doing that on every iteration. So we need to take that out of the iteration. Interesting. Yeah. It's where's that happening? We have the prompt. Yeah, this prompt will now be happening on every iteration. So we actually need to we want this prompt once. So we might actually want to take this outside of this conversion. You're welcome. I'm glad that was helpful. Maybe I should probably cut that into a short, then share it. Glad I was able to help. How are you doing today? Where are you chatting from? And thanks for joining the stream. So that was actually happening because let's cancel all these and we're prompting here, and I believe this will be doing this for every iteration of planets. So let's do model. Hey, Pakistan, nice. Nice, that's cool. Yeah, I think I'll try to make a video out of it. I should start chopping my videos from my streams. Pa 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 pa. I'll start posting them. I just need time to do it. But I will definitely post that part of the stream, especially those places where people ask me questions while I'm like coding. I think it would be nice to share all the parts from that place, from those places. How is Pakistan today? Where in Pakistan are you? Um, so, um, yeah, this actually makes sense to have these at the top level. So otherwise, we're gonna be calling the prompter multiple times, even though we only need to once per um per model. Mm, mm, mm. I knew I need you then. You never know, darling, my love is till we gain up. We've come to find my day. Hello, call it darling, I need you. Oh, Jalom. I'm in CA, the land of the maple syrup. That's cool. I've never heard about Jellum before. I've actually not really slept because I started working before I started the stream. It was later on I felt like why not just stream this while I'm working. So I've barely slept at all because I'm really trying to finish this thing ASAP, so I can get on with other important stuff in life. Oh boy, it's taking it's taking forever. It's okay. It is okay. Okay. Oh, oh. So how did you find my channel? So let's go. Mm, yeah. Um, mm, mm. I think I'm gonna go back to sleep. Thanks to thanks for joining, and I will be back again. I need to get some sleep so I can be productive again when I come back. I love you guys. Thanks for joining.